Welcome to sewing. We are going to be going over a few basics in this video so you understand how to gather your supplies and what to do with them before you start sewing. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the string, right? There are lots of different options for you to choose from in the back. What I'm going to suggest is to get a few pieces of string that you know you're going to need. So maybe like honestly having the string that you're going to use and maybe a spare. All right. The amount of string that you want to get is an arm's length. All right. Not a long piece of string, okay, but an arm's length. The reason that I'm suggesting that you should only cut arm's length is because when you sew and you pull out, all right, you want it to be able to tug all the way at the end, all right. Now, if you have longer, what I have noticed in the past, and this has happened multiple times, that if you have a longer string than your arm, um, your you get knots, okay? And you don't want to necessarily get knots in your string. So you want to make sure that, yes, you have short or arm's length so you don't get frustrated. Okay, so that's the first thing about string. So we're going to put this to the side. I want to talk about fabric. In the back, there are lots of options for you to pick fabric. There are half sheets of felt, all right? And I do have other fabric if you're looking for something that is a little bit different than felt. But for the most part, you can use the felt. If you're choosing a full sheet, okay, I want you to be able to use the entire sheet. Do not pick a full sheet for something that you're going to do small pieces from. Check the scrap bin first. Also, when you're cutting things out, try to move whatever you're drawing or you're cutting to be to the side. Do not cut in the center for like a circle here. Move to the side and try to clip out the side. All right. Now, in order to draw on it to get your idea, you can use a light pencil. You have to draw a few lines to really get on it. Okay, kind of see how that's coming out. It's called patience. To put this down, please don't use a Sharpie because Sharpies just it's awful. So a light pencil will do the trick. Next, cutting. All right, when you're cutting, try not to cut at the very end because you cut at the end, it's really not going to go. But you want to open up your scissors and do little snips at the back end, and it will cut very easily. Now that's one pair of scissors. Here's another pair of scissors. Nice and easy cutting all the way through. Okay. If you have small bits like this, I'm going to suggest that you throw them out. Large pieces, okay, even like this, should go into the scrap bin. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about knotting. All right. And putting our needle. So this is the bin that you're going to have. There are 3 different items in here. You're not necessarily going to use all of them, which is fine. All right. So this is a seam ripper. This is helpful for when you're trying to pull out old seams. Okay, so what is a seam? So let's say you start sewing and it doesn't go right, or you want to move things around. This is great for moving things around, or if, let's say, we need to go and fix something, we need to rip it apart and cut them. Okay, but this is sharp enough for regular thread, not necessarily here. So I use this for like small details. So that's that. This one is a threader, okay? So threaders are pretty awesome because they help you a lot. If you're having difficulty getting the string through the eye, all you have to do is poke it through, okay? And as I said, you don't need to use this. Put it through, okay, whoop, and it comes right on through. You can use that, or you can just, what I tend to do is I'll lick it, and I'll poke it through the hole or the eye of the needle, okay, and then it's good to go. All right, so you've got this. Then you have your needle. Your needle, be very careful. It is pointy at the end, okay? I do have smaller needles for if you want to do a button, to put a button in. They do have smaller holes, so you might need a smaller needle. So you can ask me that if you want to choose to do a button. Okay, how to do the thread. What you want to do is you want to have about, I want to say like a pinky or finger's width amount of thread kind of hanging out. So it's going to be a long side and there's going to be a short side. If you feel comfortable, you can keep it like this, okay, where it's just loose, or you can tie it on, take it across them, and goes in like this one time. Reason I'm saying one time is because you want to be able to take it off at the end of your at the end of the period, okay? Because you cannot hold this. Everything has to go back into the jar and be put back. Okay, so that's once. At the other end, you need a knot, okay? So what you want to do is you're going to do like a regular knot where you're going to cross it over, okay, through. See how it's like a pretzel in a way? Pull it together, do it again, cross it over and in, just like a pretzel. And you might need to move it to be where you want that other knot, okay? So that is one way on how to make a knot, all right, a double knot. Now, I'm going to show you another way. This is a little bit more advanced. If you cannot do this, don't do it. So how I do this is I go around, twist it. See, I went around, take my thumb, and I twist out. See how it's twisting? Okay. I take my middle finger, I squish it. Ready? Then I pull this. And now, although I'm squishing it, I'm going to let the string come through. So it's going to sneak through. Okay? What's happening is as I pull through, the knot is bunching up at the end. Okay? Again, twist, pinch with my thumb, twist, turn, take finger, pinch here. Not too tight because I want to be able to pull the string through, but I'm holding on to the knot in the end, okay? Cool thing about this is you can pull this one out. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. So that's why I kind of like this one, because I can pull it out. Once you've threaded, you've put your double knot or at least a knot at the end, you are ready to start sewing. So that's that. So let me put this onto the side. When you are sewing your project, remember you got to take this off and your string will still be attached. How to close. All right. So let's start with this one, okay? If you're doing an embroidery, all right, on the back side, it's going to be hard to see. There is the ugly side, okay? It's all the strings in the back, all right? And that's all back there, okay? What you're going to want to do is you're going to cut out a shape around it. Then you're going to mount it on a backing, all right? So all your ugly side is covered. You can do however stitch you want to, seal that back. So that's that, okay? So we do the stitching, then we sew that back on. That's this one. If you're doing a plushie, okay, you want to cut both sides of whatever it is they're doing at the same time. So I'm going to highly suggest that you take it, fold it, draw what you need, okay, or get two and then put it over. This one was two whole pieces of felt. This one was a folded. This was a folded. Cut them out. Then take the back edge, put them away. Sew everything you need on the front, okay? All the details, all the embroidery first. Then when you're done, get the second half, start sewing them together, okay? But leave like a little bit, about an inch, so you can stuff the stuffing in. Don't overstuff, okay? That means it's too fat and too hard. You just want it to be a little bit plump. You might want to get a pencil to kind of push your stuffing down. Then once it's filled up, you can finish it off, okay? And put a knot at the end. And that's how you end it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think you know enough to be able to get started on your sewing.